Hi, and welcome back. Today, we're going to look at leverage trading. I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate and use it properly on the BitMEX platform. Now, this is going to seem a bit confusing at first, and that's because trading is a bit more complex. Now, before we get started, let's nail down the basic terminology. Let's start with collateral. And collateral is the asset you hold in your account as security to cover potential losses. Think of collateral as the thing you need to actually trade with. Now we have leverage.
It controls how much market exposure you get compared to the collateral you put up.
And of course, in these examples on BitMEX, we'll be using USDT, perpetual futures on all of the examples. And then, of course, we have margin. And margin is the amount of collateral you must hold in your account. Now, collateral is the actual thing, USDT, right? And margin is the amount of that thing you actually need.
Initial margin is the minimum amount of collateral required to open a position.
And the initial margin is set by the exchange and varies from coin to coin. After the initial margin is set, we have a maintenance margin rate, or MMR. And this is the minimum amount of collateral required to keep a position open. Now, once you're in a trade, you must maintain this percentage or you get liquidated. Obviously, you don't want to get liquidated, so this is absolutely crucial. Always know the maintenance margin rate, okay, for your coin, as each of them is different. Next, we have the notional size, also known as the value.
Notional size is the total dollar value of your position based on contract size and price.
To calculate the notional size, you'll use the number of coins. Obviously, because it's the amount of coins by the current price, this can change in real time as price fluctuates. Now, this is what most people get wrong or confused about in leverage. Now, if it's one thing that you need to take away from this video is that leverage comes last. Let me say that again. Leverage comes absolutely last in your trading. Another thing is that it does not matter how much leverage you use. What matters is how much money you are willing to risk on each trade. This is proper risk management. Again, how much money are you willing to risk on the trade, and not necessarily how much leverage you are going to use. Now, let's say, for example, you have an account of $1,000 in your portfolio and you'd like to risk 1% per trade, which is reasonable. Your stop loss should be set to lose $10, regardless of the leverage. Now, your stop loss is more important than the leverage used in that trade or in any trade. Every trade is different based on your entry, based on your stop loss, based on your available balance. Your leverage will be different each and every time. So how do we actually calculate leverage? Well, here is the formula.
Position size is calculated by taking the dollar amount you're willing to risk and dividing it by the distance between your entry price and your stop loss. Leverage is just a tool that lets you place that position size. It doesn't necessarily change how much you risk.
Now let's look at some real examples on BitMEX. Now, to get to your perpetual contract trading, leverage trading on BitMEX, all you need to go to is bitmex.com. And do not forget, you deposit $25, BitMEX is going to give you $50, okay, in trading credits that you can use to trade however you want. That is a great way to start your trading on BitMEX. So the first thing we're going to do, bitmex.com, click on trade. Okay, we're going to go to perps for perpetual contracts. And again, they're the ones that invented the perpetual contracts, very trustworthy.
BitMEX has been around for a long time and is one of the oldest crypto derivatives exchanges.
11 years in the space. So all of those are great things to think about when you're choosing an exchange. Now, on bitmex.com, okay, we're going to go to perpetual contracts. Now here you can see two things. You can see BTC and USDT. It simply means that when you open a perpetual contracts, if you see BTC, that means that your profits will be converted or settled in BTC. Or if you choose USDT, that means that your trade will be settled in USDT, in stablecoins. Here we have Solana.
Solana can go up to 100x leverage depending on the contract and account settings.
And it's settled in, of course, USDT. Now, the first thing we're going to go to is over here to our little trading window. Okay, and this is where all the magic happens. Make sure you're on single asset, which I like to be on single asset as I like to limit, okay, the assets that I use in my trading. So if you click on single asset, you'll see here you have multiple asset mode and you have single asset mode. Okay, so multiple asset modes, it means that you can use any of these coins, okay, as margin for your positions. It applies to your entire account. The benefits of multiple asset is that you have zero settlement fees, you have more margin flexibility, and you have up to 20 cryptocurrencies available to use as margin. Now, on the single asset mode, however, which is what I like to use, as I do like to limit my risk in every which way that I can. So I choose single asset mode, and the benefits of that is because I have limited asset exposure, I have maximum leverage available, which, 100x, as a matter of fact, I don't use 100x, I use up to, whatever X I feel like. Now here we have cross margin, and your cross margin balance is shared across all of your open positions. Okay, so I actually like to keep it isolated because my isolated margin is used for one single position. Okay, so I like to use isolated margin, and of course I hardly ever use 100x, actually never never. So what I do is I go to 10x for this Solana position, 10x, 7x, 5x, depends. So I'll use the slider to move my margin up or down, okay? And then I'll click on apply. Okay, so I confirm that isolated 10x is where I'm at, single asset, and that is perfect. Now, the next thing I have is a limit order or market order. A limit order is where you are being patient and you're waiting for price to come to you. You're setting your price, okay? So if you see here, a limit order is an order to buy or sell at a given price or even better. Now, this is the most common order type if you are patient. However, if you're not patient, and sometimes I just use market order when I want to get in on a trade as well, so that is okay. You can use market order. Keep in mind, with market order, it is the fastest way to get an order filled, and it will execute at the best price on the book at the time of execution. So that price could vary, okay, which is slippage. That price can vary from the price you initially thought that you were going to buy to that price that you got actually when the position gets filled. So be careful about market. You can have a slippage when you use market orders, okay? So for this example, I'm going to use a market order and show you how it's done. We're going to take a short position on Solana, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my short position with the short position tool, okay? I'm going to put my stop loss here. I'm going to put my take profit. And these are things that I always decide before I even, open a trade or I get into a trade. Okay, so now I have my position tool available. It's easier for me now to just copy, paste where my stop loss should be. So I'm going to click on add TP, take profit, and stop loss here. I'm going to enter my stop loss, which is 123.77. And then I'm going to enter my TP, which is 119.21. Okay, now that I have my stop loss and my take profit, now I'll just risk at about 170 or 180. Okay, let's say 176. And now all I need to do is click on sell market. It is that easy. So let's click on sell market. And there we go. All right, my position has been filled. It was a market order. And now what you can do is you can, of course, move your TP to other areas, okay, if you would so like, and there you go. Now, if you scroll underneath, you'll see your overview of positions open. So as you can see here, I have an XRP position open, and I have a Solana position open. Now, I can close these orders by clicking limit, which will, ask me basically what is the limit price I would like to close this position, or if I click market, it will just close it at market close. It'll ask me what percentage of my position I would like to close at market price. And there we go. Now, if you'd like to share your P&L cards, you can simply click on over here. There. I don't want to share my P&L cards yet.
Market orders usually pay taker fees, which is why your position often starts slightly negative.
And that is it. It is that simple to open a position on BitMEX, okay, using leverage. Now, another thing you can do is you can actually trade directly from TradingView on BitMEX. If you go onto TradingView, like I have here, all you need to do is to go into Trading Panel, simply connect your BitMEX account on TradingView, and you'll have your positions directly available to trade. Be sure to join me on many live trades that I'm going to be doing from January, where we're going to be trading live on BitMEX, but TradingView, and that would be very cool because there's not a lot of crypto exchanges that are available on TradingView to trade directly. And they're actually coming out with many new features, making it easier for the user. So if you would like to sign up, don't forget that link in the description and your free $50 bonus. That's a great present for the new year. And just remember, stay in the game, manage your risk, put your stop loss in, don't move it, and just risk what you're willing to lose on each trade. All right. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.